Hello and welcome everyone to Sound of Manchester with me Kushagr and a solemn looking Pratmesh and a disappointed Anurag with me. We look at the past week in Manchester United, in Manchester United terms, or in the lives of Manchester United fans as a topsy-turvy week. Uh, United had a tricky away fixture against a team which is in form, which is performing very well this season. That is Southampton. They travelled away to St Mary's, southern part of England. And to be very honest, in the first half, it seemed like even though they were traveling within the same country, they seemed to have jet lag, and the players looked absolutely out of it, out of their depths when it came to defending. Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof with another questionable first half, I must say. I was pretty, even though James Ward-Prowse, James Ward-Prowse's delivery cannot be questioned at all.
Yeah.
Still, the way United conceded a corner, and when we come to the second game that we talked about, United conceded from a corner once again. I feel that shows massive defensive issues. Just a point that I picked up on, if you guys remember, Fred was the one who gave away the free kick for Ward-Prowse's goal, the
Yeah.
free kick, and also Fred was one of the major culprits last night as well. Now, whether you put it entirely on Fred or you put it on Ole, I think we can all wait for PSG a little bit. But starting with you, Anurag, the Southampton match, first half was really bad. The second half, we saw United come back into their zone, sort of a thing, when you had Greenwood move out and Cavani come in. And for me, even though he scored a goal against Everton, that was the first time I really saw Cavani play properly. I know he played against Istanbul, slightly unlucky to not score, but
Yeah.
I felt he was way more impressive. The fact that I could see him on the right, the fact that I could see him in the middle, and his intelligence in his running and all of that, that is beautiful to watch. Just a word from your end on Cavani and the overall match as well.
See, Cavani is a footballing genius, and I think we can stress as much as we want on it. It doesn't change a fact that we were all disappointed when he was signed. It was not because of the player who was signed; it was because of the way that he was signed, and he was never in United's plans. And it is great that he's working out so well for us. I know there are a lot of opposition fans who are pointing out that fans are so disappointed with Cavani. There were some dumb United fans who were like stupid enough to compare that signing to Ighalo. Obviously, we did not do that. Now that is absolute absurdity and stupidity in its own way. Uh,
But we never even thought we'll see Igalo and
no,
Cavani on the same pitch, did we?
yeah,
We did
yeah,
last
actually, that
night.
yeah, that was and funny. Van
Anyway,
Bissaka came off. Yeah,
yeah,
my
yeah,
goodness.
yeah.
So this entire week, I'll just put this entire week in one sentence. Manchester United fucking you know
In a
climbed an
nutshell,
Everest. In a nutshell, we climbed an Everest barefoot, and we sort of fell off the cliff trying to click a selfie on the edge.
yeah, I think in that sense it was just quite an idiotic week, wasn't it, Pratmesh? I
Yeah.
mean,
The way we
uh,
fell off against PSG was absolutely idiotic.
yeah, I think all the happiness, Pratmesh, all the last minute joy that we all felt on the Saturday last week, and the mocking that we must have done for the Arsenal fans, for other teams fans who didn't win. It just all came back in a very, very quick turnaround, roundabout way last night. And just a quick word on the Southampton match before we move on to the PSG match. Anything that you think, it's been a few days. I know our viewers may not be entirely interested in that Southampton result, but any interesting point that you might have noted during that victory that United had?
I think two positives that we could definitely take from that game was the performance of Van de Beek in midfield in the Premier League, where he was playing slightly deeper, but he was still able to get those positions right. He was able to get those passes out quickly. He was able to create uncertain moments for the Southampton defense.
His
I know
short
he
passing
put,
is absolutely brilliant, isn't it?
yes,
It
It's the
is,
yes,
it
best
is,
I've
it
seen
is.
in a
he's
very
so
long
good.
time at
He's so
United.
good on
He
the
he doesn't miss passes. Sorry. I
Yeah,
think Pramesh carry
yeah,
on, but
totally.
yeah, Van
yeah.
de Beek was fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he doesn't miss passes on the turn as well. He's good with his first touch. I think he's very effective. We posted a picture of his about welcome to the Premier League with a swollen foot. So that was essentially what happened to him, but still he gave such a brilliant performance. And
Totally.
Cavani, obviously, that was his exclamation moment when after arrival. I think we always knew he had the movement. We knew that he's a quality striker. There was only the question whether he would be able to produce it now. But I think what
Yeah,
really
true.
helps him was his work rate, and I think that is something which Uruguayans somewhere or other and always have it. No matter who comes into the Premier League at what point, they seem to have that extra bite, that extra. You could say that South American feistiness within them. So that is always there with them. And as United fans, we are used to it. It was exactly a topsy-turvy week for Indian cricket fans in the opposite way because when United played Southampton, Indian cricket team lost, and when we played PSG the earlier day, in the morning, Indian cricket team won. So we had a little even but still, as a United fan, you always kind of feel, that the PSG game, which was right in our hands, which we will now dive into, we just had it was like we had the game in hand like clay, and that clay suddenly turned into sand, and everything just slipped away.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess when he talks about the game slipping away, I felt like the group also almost sort of slipped away from us.
Totally.
Anurag, we were all discussing on our group chat, and we were discussing what changes Ole should make after the first half, which quite frankly felt, there were overreactions in that first half from United fans and also from some pundits. Felt up until that Fred incident when where arguably you should have gotten a red. I guess those things are there in the rules, but you also have to understand the referee. It was from Italy. In this area, you often see people going head to head and face to face. Not all players get red cards. Otherwise, you won't have players on the pitch at all. If you see, Fred, of course, if that happened in the Premier League, he was off without doubt. I'm not defending
Yeah.
him.
Totally.
I'm just saying whatever it was. Uh, Fred has that incident around the 22nd or 25th minute. I'm not entirely sure. But post that, United dominated the entire first half. I felt when we restarted the game, I think United were dominant for the first 15, 20 minutes, and we'll get to the chances there. But in terms of dominance, in terms of outplaying us, I'm really sorry I did not see PSG outplaying Manchester United last night. And I know the manager made obvious errors. Like, I think I've spoken on this channel and on our sister channel, the Sports Join as well. I feel that eventually his own substitutions will get him sacked. And, we're seeing him on the path towards that because it was clear as day, man. I mean, I went on Twitter at halftime. Literally every United fan was talking about the same. Every United fan was talking about just take Fred out. He's a walking red card. Yeah, I know you can't control the goal from the corner, but you can control getting that red card. Even if you had that slowpoke Matic at that point, you
You could have
wouldn't have
afforded,
been
yeah.
in. Yeah, you wouldn't have been that problem. I do not understand why Pogba came on before Van de Beek if Van de Beek was fit to come on later. I just do not understand that.
Yeah.
Frankly, more than Ole Solskjaer, I don't understand what Paul Pogba brings to Manchester United anymore. I don't understand that. And
Yeah. Yeah. And
Anurag, sorry
Gaurav,
to
before we move,
sorry for
yeah,
a captive
yeah,
audience rant because I was just honestly
yeah,
beyond mortified with the stupidity that Manchester United displayed last night. And my question to you,
yeah.
first to Anurag and then to Pratnesh, is who do we blame for such basic errors that when it's 2-1, that if it goes to 3-1, the head to head goes against you? At 2-1, you would have been above PSG because then it shifts to goal difference. If I know these Champions League rules, why don't the goddamn Manchester United management team not know this? Anurag, you can carry on and then take it with Pratnesh.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah, that's a really good point that you've mentioned. It's something that hasn't struck me because since yesterday I
So,
was so.
so we
It
won
was a
to
very
one.
important.
We
Yeah, yeah,
won to
I get
one,
it.
right?
I think
At
on
PSG,
away goals it's 2-2 all,
it's
and it
two.
comes to goal
Yeah,
difference. Yeah, yeah, I
goal
got it.
difference, and we
Yeah, yeah,
scored 5 against Leipzig, and we
yeah.
scored
I
4
think
against Istanbul.
that was enough.
We would have been above them regardless. But
Yeah,
no,
Yeah.
we are fucking third. We put on Igalo and
for
leave
Aaron
even
Van
more
Bissaka.
space open. Though they score a third, it's so retarded. It's so retarded. I don't get it.
And it's not like you're removing Telles, who is like not really a defensive stronghold presence. You're literally removing the strongest defensive presence that United has had in the last 2 years.
The
That is
only
Aaron
defender
Ramsey.
who didn't commit mistakes last night. The only
Yeah,
defender.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And where to start, man? See, I've always said I'm a massive Fred fan, but again, this was down to the manager. And I think one of the things that I was actually anticipating was Fred to get us the red card by actually putting on a good tackle and the PSG players doing something nonsensical.
That
That is
happened,
what
didn't it?
exactly happened. The way I feared the worst case scenario that we feared. All United fans really did not want it to happen. And adding insult to injury was it happened right after the second goal. And totally, it's like you've lost little control and then you've lost total control. But again, this is one of the most mediocre PSG teams that has ever come to
And we
Manchester.
still got beat.
And yeah, and I will go on record to say this hurt way more than Tottenham Hotspur, because Spurs, a good team, came in. We did something absolutely stupid. We played stupid football. We lost the
And we
game. That is
weren't
fine.
playing good football before Spurs.
Exactly.
I felt we
Exactly.
were playing decent football leading up to Southampton. Now, you
Yeah.
know what he's done? What he's done, Anurag. And you can carry out a point with Pratnesh after that. He had a chance to ensure Pochettino won't get his job last night.
Yeah.
Had he beaten Tuchel, Tuchel was out.
Yeah.
Tuchel was out. And by Christmas, you could have Zidane out.
Yeah.
Just imagine. You think Poch would have come here?
No. See, again, I know the now I think Solskjaer, he has, I think, two more games up his sleeve, two more defeats like this, and he's definitely gone. I think, see, we're still not watching anything come from Manchester United's media house. Like, there is no briefing as such, the unofficial or official briefing
They
as
did
such,
that
which
before the Everton game, didn't they?
they did that,
Yeah, they
and we
had
won
to.
that game. And since then, we've not seen anything. And after yesterday, it's been 24 hours, very much 24 hours almost, and we
Nothing.
still haven't seen. So it's clear that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, for good or bad reasons, is still being bagged. Is it good for the club? God knows what is going to happen. But yesterday was managerial blunder after blunder after blunder, and it sort of bludgeoned the team so bad. And obviously, the last time we went to Germany with the must-win game, it was against
Wolfsburg?
Wolfsburg, and we got screwed. Obviously, Wolfsburg were a team in full form. That entire green army, like I remember the fans and the
Naldo, yeah.
atmosphere that day. I think United lost the moment they entered the pitch. Looking at the atmosphere itself, oh my
Funny
god, this
part
is
was
not
we
happening.
were leading. We were leading in that match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Martial scored
Twice.
that day. Martial scored that day, if you remember.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Talking about
talking
Martial.
about Marcel, I think
Segue. Yeah,
we'll come to Pratnesh there. Pratnesh, manager's mistakes are one place. Of course, manager has to take the blame for Fred. No one else is at fault. In fact, I would have probably taken him off at the 38th minute when he was
for
lucky
every
enough.
substitution he made
Yeah.
and did not make.
Yes, I would have taken him off in the first half. I don't care if he got humiliated.
Yeah,
Honestly, when he got that free kick from Paredes, wherein actually he had gotten the ball first, but then eventually stepped on Paredes' foot, if you remember in the first half,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Even
would
that
have
was a
taken him
potential
off
yellow card.
right
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Because you don't know how the referee interprets it. You don't know how he looks at it. In the end,
Yeah,
the red card that he got, the second yellow
yeah,
he got, I didn't feel that was a second yellow. But I felt it evened itself out over the
yeah.
90 minutes. I think in the 70 minutes you were on the pitch, you deserve to be
yeah. He
sent off
deserved it.
twice.
He deserved it.
You deserve
Yeah.
to be
Yeah,
sent off twice. So if you're getting it once, it's fine. And
yeah,
what do we talk? What do we say about our attack, especially the finishing from Anthony Martial? Because I'll raise my hand and say he's one of my favorite players. In world football, I would say. Uh, he's had a very good season last year. He's been struggling
yeah,
from the start this year. He's just struggled. He missed those 3.5 games after that stupid red card against Tottenham.
yeah,
And yesterday, he should have had 2 goals. Honestly, he had twice. He was set up
yeah,
effectively with open goals. Just the keeper to beat, and both the times he flubbed his lines. The first one was the worst. Second one was at least on target, and you can say maybe Marquinhos gets the block and whatever. But the
yeah,
first one and the Cavani chip, so unlucky that I hit the crossbar.
yeah,
Footballing intelligence, my
yeah.
Pratnesh, when Anurag says this hurt more than Spurs, is it because you felt that we were more than good enough to beat in the PSG, or is it because now you can just see Thursday nights and more Thursday nights?
It was disappointing because the scoreline could have easily been the other way around and it wouldn't have mattered.
And yeah,
So
no one would have come. Tuchel would have
no,
had no right to complain.
And
exactly.
just a small point. I think we could have bought one extra game of a great game which we could have taken for granted, which is so
Yes,
important in such a
because
tight schedule.
we discussed this last time. Leipzig, you can rest players if you
Hmm.
are already through.
Yeah,
Now we
exactly.
can't.
So yeah, coming to Martial, I mean, I know he's one of your favorite players. I think Abraham Glazer also agrees with you. And Marino tried to ship him off a couple of times, and Glazer didn't want that to happen. Which, in hindsight, if I look at it now, I feel maybe it could have happened. But yeah, I mean, I don't have anything against Martial in that sense. I think he was better suited at that point of time for United. The first goal, I'm not even going to give him an excuse. You remember Torres' miss at Old Trafford?
Yeah,
This
yeah,
was
yeah.
even
Yeah.
worse.
No, I mean,
This was
it
even worse.
wasn't worse. Torres rounds the keeper and then misses the goal. Okay, it's not worse, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but
it is bad. It
At
is.
least Torres had an angle to shoot at, a little bit of
No
an
point
angle
in
to
what
shoot at.
about bro.
But
I mean,
yeah,
I
so
don't think
so yeah, so
in its own right, this is horrible. I'm not comparing it to
yeah,
anything
I
else.
mean, yeah, no
I
point in
felt
what
that
about
lack
it.
of finishing lost us the game. We'll
Yeah.
yeah,
come to the defending after this, but I felt that
yeah.
lack of finishing touch from, especially from a man who wants to be the number 9 of the club,
Yeah, and I don't
lost us the
understand
game.
this thing. If you have been so vocal about wanting to be United's number 9, if you are being so vocal about you know wanting to be the highest goal scorer at the club, I feel it's okay that he missed those two chances, which can happen to any day or for any striker in the world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Carry on.
The greater problem really is what Martial showed off the ball and on the ball sometimes. There was no effort at all. The effort is the biggest issue. I feel this might have also been missed by Cantonas, by the Ronaldos, by the best strikers in the world. But I'm pretty sure that the work rate that those guys show is, you can't. There is no second thing to that. You just have to show that work rate. Had Cavani missed those two chances, I wouldn't have been as his socks off all game. And you need your players not just to be tired the game, absolutely exhausted. I'm pretty sure Martial could do a marathon after the game because he
Horrible.
doesn't put in. Martial could absolutely do a marathon after the game because he doesn't put in any effort at all within the game. He was absolutely walking on the pitch. That is the biggest problem. I mean, there's no excuse. With Fred, he deserved a double red card, dude. I mean, he could have been banned for 6 or 10 games for how many amount of errors that he made. I think he could have very easily, had he stayed on the pitch for 90 minutes, he could have been deserving a third red card as well. And that's how bad his tackling was, although as good as he has been this season. Uh, Coming to Ole Solskjaer, it's funny, right? The guy who was known as one of the best subs in the history
Cannot
of
make
probably
subs.
football as well. Yeah, one of the most effective substitutions in the history of football could not make substitutions. That's the most craziest thing. And the guy is supposed to be, he's said to be learning. He learned it from the great Sir Alex Ferguson when he was sitting on the bench. He was making notes, etc., etc. This that. He can't make substitutions. And then if you want to anyway throw Igalo in, why not throw Igalo in the moment you put Cavani off? Why wait for
Yeah.
15 more minutes to throw Igalo in? That too for one Bissaka of all people, who is not just the best defender you have, but the most paciest defender you have. I don't think even Telles
He
gets
could have
off the
taken off
ball.
Telles. I
He could
mean,
have taken off
honestly,
Telles. He could have
I
taken off
understand the
Lindelof.
point, maybe the
Yeah,
crossing and all, but
yeah.
yeah,
He could have taken off Lindelof. He could have taken off Lindelof. One Bissaka could have been the deepest man, and he could have taken off Lindelof. I just don't get what the sole purpose was
No, I don't. I don't get the
yeah.
point. Okay. I don't get the point that if you don't understand, there are second legs of Champions League games when you're losing, but you're still winning.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you're telling me you'll go, like a retard idiot, you will go and try to win that second leg rather than winning the overall aggregate score. This is what we did,
Yeah,
didn't
exactly.
we?
we lost
We
the
wanted
advantage.
a draw. I think that's the only justification for Igalo being on.
Yeah,
No justification. No justification
No,
whatsoever.
yeah.
this is what happens when I hear a lot of people say that Solskjaer is still pretty young in his managerial career,
No,
etc.
it's not.
He's not young. Then
Okay.
if he was young at the time when he was at Cardiff City in 2013, it's been 7 years since. He's been managing for a long time. He knows the game pretty well, and he as a manager, and I think every player that is on the football pitch would know if PSG scored a third goal, they're ahead on the table. So I don't understand why that whole thing even happened. I'm
I
just
honestly, I
tired of this
honestly,
game, dude.
Honestly,
To be honest, I'm tired
question.
of this game. I'm just going to look at West Ham because this is just super
Yeah,
depressing.
I think we'll move on. We'll move on
You
from the
know,
PSG.
just a small point before we move on from this topic. You know, I know we are when we talk about people like Harry Maguire, Paul Pogba, you were talking
Yeah,
about big
just Anurag,
transfers.
Anurag, could
Yeah,
if you could also add one thing.
yeah,
Martial's misses didn't make us lose the match. We lost the match because of our idiotic defending, because the centre
yeah,
backs
totally.
cannot run, our centre backs cannot head the ball, our centre backs cannot clear their lines, our centre backs, when anyone runs on them one on one, shit their pants right there at the centre circle at Old
Totally. You know, on that note, even after losing Fred, if you notice, with 10 men, we still had 45% possession. If that was Liverpool, if that was Manchester City, you remember that game where, Sergio Aguero scored sort of, we lost 3-1 to. In Mourinho's last season with United, the
Yeah, yeah,
season
yeah.
where
Trafford.
he came in,
Hmm.
we went to Etihad, we lost 3-1. When we scored that second goal, Lukaku got that penalty, Martial scored that
Hmm.
penalty.
Yeah.
After that, we were expecting, okay, chalo, abhi thoda kuch to position milega.
ना ना
And
ना कुछ नहीं.
City did not have even a little bit of the ball.
Hmm.
PSG, of all the money that this is such a mediocre fucking team, like useless fucking team. They
Honestly,
could
but
not,
I
11 players,
want.
they could not keep possession against one of the most horrible
Yeah.
one of the most horribly inconsistent teams of all time, and especially with all the names that they have. I
Yeah.
mean, I know we can talk about people not being, the money not being spent on investments, and still there is great quality, and that was a fabulous. And just to mention, I think Cavani and Rashford were magnificent yesterday. I think that was as good as I've seen them in a United shirt. That was really, really promising. It was so sad the output did not come in. And coming to the defenders, my goodness, and a little bit, I don't blame them for the transfer fees that the clubs paid each other, but
No,
I do
forget the
blame them.
transfer fee.
I blame them for the salaries that they take. Martial takes how
Yeah.
much? 225, 250. Harry
Yeah,
Maguire
I think Martial gets
200.
180, Harry
Lind,
Maguire is around 200, Lindelof is
yeah,
around
yeah, it
140.
goes to 220, 250 if he scores the goal.
Upon appearance fees and
Yeah,
everything else. Yeah,
yeah, that is fine. If he gets the goals and is getting the money, that's
Pretty
it.
sure he isn't getting goal money this season.
My
not yet
goodness,
at
bro.
least. Yeah.
That's what frustrates me. You take the most elite jersey in the side. You take up so much money, and still you're jogging. I know people keep bringing up stats that his work rate is very much eventually. I can show you so many instances where Cavani was making, like, literally burning his lungs down, and Martial was not even trying to move. That
Martial
was so
walking.
frustrating. I This was the most frustrating I've seen Martial. I've ever seen. Yeah.
I think we can move on beyond
Yeah.
Martial, because I think
Yeah,
the problem
he was
for
not the.
Manchester United is
He's
not
a
their
sort of a
attack.
scapegoat. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, right
problem for
now.
Manchester United is not their attack. He missed those chances. He deserves criticism. He probably deserves to be dropped, and he will be. He's already lost his number 9 spot to Cavani as of now. And
Hmm.
for me, I think he just about starts on the left against West Ham. Maybe not. I don't really have anyone else to bring on the right. That's the only reason I probably started on the left with Rashford staying on the right, because I feel Rashford and Cavani has a beautiful understanding on the right. Cavani can quietly switch in with Rashford coming to the nine, and Rashford can switch in and Cavani coming to the nine. So I feel I don't want to mess up that partnership. And with the left, I am fine with a non-crossing winger being there, because you've got Alex Telles there as someone who's going to cross the ball so very well. So you know when we talk about the West Ham game, guys, we pointed out the flaws, we pointed out issues. One of the good things is Mikel Antonio might not start the game, because I don't think
Ah,
he's fit enough to start the game, but he
hope
will
so.
probably be on the bench.
Yeah.
Just his presence on the pitch will cause
Yeah, off
nightmares
the bench is
to.
even more scary, actually.
Yeah. Another player that we need to look out for is Soucek. Soucek, as Pratmesh has often mentioned, on this
Yeah,
channel and on the other channel
Thomas.
as well. Fellaini's better version, I guess.
Yeah.
A Fellaini who can actually play. So, that's a very dangerous combination, actually. And then beyond that, if you look at them, they're fifth in the table, guys, and
Yeah,
they're on a win. Three-match winning run, and
yeah,
Yeah.
the same as us in the Premier League.
Yeah.
They're above us. We do have an absolutely tutty record away. I mean, I'm sorry for that word. Absolutely
mm,
shit record at the
You say shit and that's fine. You say tatty,
yeah,
you say sorry. It
at the
doesn't
Olympic
matter. It's eventually the
Stadium.
same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got an absolutely shit record at the Olympic Stadium,
Yeah.
Pratnesh. And I don't know. I mean, let us know whom will you start in the match and what your predictions will be, because honestly, Manchester United, tests all of our patience. I think our lives are getting shorter.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. I feel that anyway because of COVID, but then this is even more dangerous for me, right?
This is permanent, yeah.
But
COVID,
yeah,
COVID still,
uh,
COVID still
this
has
is
an
permanent.
injection.
There still has a vaccination, still has a cure, not a cure, but at least something.
Hasn't come out
Something
yet, but yeah, it will.
eventually
I
hoga.
Hmm.
absolutely, I absolutely, I absolutely don't want Martial to play. I'm
Huh,
okay
huh.
if United play Donny van de Beek as a
Oh,
left
we have
winger
not.
for that matter also because he can actually track back. He can actually play Daniel James because Daniel James at least runs. End product कुछ ना हो माशाल्लाह से भी नहीं मिल रहा है. Let's stick to someone who's at least running on the pitch at one side. I would rather play Alex Telles as a left winger and play Brandon Williams as a left back, but not start Martial.
I think Luke Shaw's back.
That's
Luke
the
Shaw's
kind
back.
of yeah. So I mean, yeah, play Luke Shaw at
Yeah,
left
yeah.
back and play Alex Telles as a left winger. It doesn't matter. So basically, the point is no Martial and West Ham. I think it's not just that Martial is in bad form. I think he deserves to know that he will be dropped if he's not playing properly.
Yeah, I
I
think,
think
I think,
that's
I
the
think it's.
biggest thing which, yeah,
Yeah, I agree with
it's
you. I
almost
completely agree with you.
it's almost coming for us. Another thing which I do expect from United probably is, rather than just sticking to what they have been doing in the Champions League rather, which we saw a lot of possession based football, etc. And probably with West Ham, it will be like if we that is the football that we will have to play because I don't think West Ham are the kind of team who are going to be like very proactive on the ball. I
Yeah,
mean,
they
they're
they
not
generally
going.
they
They sat
generally
back.
so
They
so
sat
so
back against Aston Villa.
so
Yeah,
yeah, they were horrible against Aston Villa. Just very
Yeah.
lucky to
exactly.
win.
Yeah.
Exactly. So again, the thing with United on against West Ham will be fluidity. The thing with United will be how they're able to, create those moments with a very low block of defense. So that is where again Van de Beek becomes so important for United. And coming to our
True,
defenders,
true.
I think the biggest issue for United is in. I mean, yeah, Antonio is missing. But we must not forget there is a guy named Lanzini who might also come out and play, and he is going to be a difficult one to handle, especially if he can provide the kind of passes in behind Lindelof, in behind Maguire, and then they have the enough pace with Sebastian Haller, also the physicality of Haller, which can absolutely trouble us.
Even
So
Fornals, for that matter, I think I've been,
even
I've been,
for
I've
us,
been, I've
yeah,
been quietly impressed. And let's not forget Declan Rice, because I think at 21 he's captaining the club. I know it's only in Noble's absence, but that is there. But he's been fantastic this season. I feel
Mark
because
Noble
even
came off the bench the other game,
yeah,
so he might start as
yeah,
well.
and
I think
Mark
he
Noble
was.
has a special affinity towards United anyway.
Yeah, he ends up scoring
What
or
an
assisting
asshole.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Generally he ends up being important in the match.
Yeah.
So, just Anurag, just a final question to round up. I've asked this question at least 20 times to the both of you this season. Whose whose dog did Van de Beek kill?
No,
God
no,
knows,
let's
brother.
not go there
See,
again, man. Let's see. I
because
don't
yeah.
think Van de Beek.
because
I don't
because
think.
boys, what I can see, what I'll predict. Okay, I'll make stupid predictions here. I
If I
think
can
Van
go
de Beek
ahead and yeah, I'll
Van de
make
Beek
the
is still
prediction.
below Paul Pogba in Ole's eyes. And
Yeah.
for what goddamn reason is that? Clearly, one player who wants to be here is below the other player who doesn't want to be here. One player who's actually winning you matches compared to the other player. Did you see? Okay, I agree. Martial didn't run that much last night. Did you see Pogba's ball for Martial? What the fuck was that? What
We
was
don't need
that?
French players at the club anymore. We don't need
Yeah.
French players
What
at the club
was
anymore.
that, bro? It was like a right winger passing it to the left back. Sorry, right back. So it's diagonal across. Anyway, yeah, coming back.
We don't need French players, man.
Just your lineup, Anurag, and your prediction for the match. I'll come to Prathamesh for the prediction after you.
Unlike Prathamesh, I think Martial is going to start, and I think
Same.
Cavani might go to the bench
I
because
think I
I
think
think
they'll
we have
start
what we
Cavani.
have.
I think Anurag,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a point of view for the fans. Unless Cavani gets his ban right now, of
Hmm.
course he won't start. In all probability, he'll get a ban right after this game week. So I
Yeah.
think Solskjaer might play him regardless. I
So
think that could be the case.
that could be the case, and yeah, I think I did not take the ban into perspective, but what I'm taking into perspective is his age, which I know he's been brilliant with his work rate and all, but something that we cannot
Yeah,
ignore.
agreed, agreed.
And we need him for as long as we can. And one of the reasons why I desperately wanted him to start against PSG is so that he can get a rest. At least he can come off the bench like he did against Southampton in the West Ham game.
Yeah.
Now uh, I wouldn't be totally disappointed if Cavani is rested, because surely for a fact that I want to see him like in the entire season without any injury. At best, miss 1 or 2 games, not more than that. And if he's going to start, especially in such a cramped up season, if he's starting like almost every game, I definitely see that injury coming late in January or early February. There is that injury coming in. That is what I'm really scared about. I hope that doesn't happen. And I think Martial, as you said, he might start just because of the fact that we don't have anyone else on the right side to play. And let's see. I hope Greenwood gets a start. And just a point that we earlier mentioned, Van de Beek's short passing is something we absolutely need on the field. He's a no nonsense footballer. He doesn't want to do tricks and everything. He finds a player, he wants to make a straight pass. We have too many tricksters in the team, don't we? And when everyone's tricks are failing, and when everyone is not even, we see that with Paul Pogba, right? Sometimes there are like four people right in front of him, and he's
Yeah.
trying to do something absolutely stupid, and he loses the ball.
You
He
see
does
that
that.
with all our players, basically,
He
going
see
for the
that.
Yeah.
tougher pass.
So with someone who is a sane head, I know a lot of people who wanted, they were like Jack Grealish and Van de Beek parallels before the,
I still don't get those parallels.
I
They're
absolutely
not the
don't. I
same
think
player.
it's totally different players. And after Bastian Schweinsteiger had this brief phase when he was doing this similar thing. Like he was passing very well. He ensured he was a sane head in the team. I see that with Donny van de Beek, only younger and a much brighter future. You cannot. I know. This is a very crammed up space, but he's a youngster and he has great things to offer. I think that sane headedness is what we need right now, and I pray to the Lords he doesn't drop Donny van de Beek. Besides that, I think, yeah, I've given you pretty much my level.
Pratmesh, your prediction for the match?
you know, here Anurag talked about maybe Marshall might start because of the Cavani thing. I would rather promote Hugover from the academy squad to the main team and then start him than start Marshall. At least Hugover gives you a little bit of
Totally
directness in
frustrated.
goals. Uh,
Yeah,
Totally frustrated.
yeah, I get
So
it.
yeah, my prediction for the game would be 2-2. I'm not too enthusiastic in terms of the result because the only reason being that we West Ham at the Olympic Stadium have been a little tricky for us over the years. The only win that we got is when Zlatan and I think Mata scored
Yeah,
Yeah, that
when
was
in
a
Jose's
while
first
back. Yeah,
season.
long, long back.
So
4 years
yeah,
back. 4, 5 years back.
16. Yeah,
so 2-2 and pray to God that Van de Beek starts and Martial is on the bench.
All right. For me, boys, it will be a very Manchester United thing to do to play out a very horrible match and then we get a win. So
yeah.
I think it will be a 2-1 or a 1-0. I don't think United are capable of keeping clean sheet with this defense.
And Solskjaer is under pressure. This is when
And
they
also
start playing
also
well.
something that I didn't mention. We've been giving McTominay a free ride on this channel. I feel like it is time now for us to question whether he's good enough to play for Manchester United and what is this
Yeah,
obsession that
I don't think
Ole
he's going to play
Solskjaer
after
has.
what Neymar did to him.
I don't think he plays. Period. I don't understand. The man came out in the presser said I can play as a six, and then he's not started the next day. Enough.
Yes,
Anyway, my,
exactly what
my
Neymar did.
prediction, as I said, would be 2-1 United. Anurag, what's your prediction?
Man, the West Hams, the Burnleys, these are the teams that I absolutely hate, because you know what they're going to do to you. Like totally sit back worse than prime Jose Mourinho teams. I hate that style of football. Whatever you want to say, I know, but
At least it's not Allardyce.
nah, man, chal.
It's more.
There is no otherwise to it. There's no buts and ifs to it. I don't like it. Period. And I hope we can just find that space, because what frustrates me is we can't beat such low blocks and compact spaces. When we don't have space, we
True.
don't do anything. I think that's the contributing factor to my frustration. But I think because Solskjaer is under pressure, I think we could potentially get a 2-1 win.
All right. Let's hope. Let's hope that the next week when we do this United Weekly.
Hmm.
We're not as perturbed, as irritated, as red in the eyes with anger and fear and just absolute frustration from the United performance. Next week is a huge week for us, guys. Leipzig and then City, the Manchester derby.
Ah,
Just not
wow.
confident heading into that week. Let's hope we have a positive weekend, boys. Thank you so much for joining me, Pratnesh, as ever, and of course Anurag as well. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Do keep it locked to the Sound of Manchester for all things Manchester United. It's been a tough midweek. United are. I feel United already have 1.5 feet already in the Europa League. So unless there is a miracle next Tuesday or Thursday, Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever it is,
One fucking point, man.
yeah, unless we get a miracle the next time, I don't think I think we're destined for Thursday nights once again. So here's hoping that the next time we see you, we'll be more positive, we'll be more happy, we'll be more, I don't know, radiant, without fire, without anger. And do keep it locked to Sound Manchester. As I said, do share it around, like, subscribe, and all of that jazz. And we'll see you soon.